Hello, and welcome to a new episode of In the Spotlight. I'm your host, Arthur Bodenschatz. Today I'll be sitting down with a couple of honorable community members, but first Ryan Wolf and I have already gone to meet our guests at the site of their work.
My name is Tony Casasanta, and I'm a member of St. Paul's Catholic Church here in North Canton. The project that we're involved with here is called our Appalachia Project. The truck is actually sent up to us from Pennsboro. We've loaded, and then they take it back down to Pennsboro to unload.
Mr. Casasanta is a leading member of this project and has been around since its humble beginning.
It started approximately 25 years ago. It was started out as just a little group of things in a garage, and now we've expanded it to the point where we need a relatively large size garage facility to store them.
Now the thriving ministry keeps a regular schedule of business.
Well, what we do is we bring donations in from the various members of the church. We store them until we have a truckload, which is usually once a month. Well, we spend anywhere from 2 to 3 hours loading the truck, mostly because of the size of the boxes and bags and furniture that we put on the truck. We try to fill all the little spots in so that we can get the most items on the truck that we have. We have a load generally once a month. We have it set up on the second Saturday of the month so that it's all coordinated time-wise.
What the group works towards is a goal greater than themselves.
This fulfills a couple of needs. One, we're donating materials to those that are less fortunate than ourselves so that we bring a little bit of Christian ministry into the project. We also bring a fellowship together with those of us that are working the project and loading the truck. So we gather a couple of different things out of it.
The members that contribute to the fellowship follow no certain mold.
People volunteer from all facets of the church. We get students, we get older people, we get younger people. Our primary group that we coordinate with are all retirees that find that this is a worthwhile project to help those less fortunate than ourselves.
While helping others, Casasanta enjoys getting to know the people he works with.
Well, I've gotten to know quite a few more people here in the North Canton area, but we've developed a tight bond with those of us that are working this. There's about 8 of us that get together on a regular basis, and we have a good time with it, as well as a Christian atmospheric type project. So we've developed a good relationship with each other.
Having been involved for so long, he has no shortage of good memories.
The thing that happened was that somebody lost their cell phone. Couldn't find it in the truck before the truck went down to the Pennsboro. And when it got down there after they unloaded everything, they found the cell phone and brought it back up to us the next month. So we've had some interesting little tidbits like that. Basically, though, it's just good camaraderie, working together to help others.
One man's trash is another man's treasure, and the St. Paul's men do their best to deliver North Canton's treasure to the right place. Mr. Casasanta is here with me now, along with Dennis Bodenschatz, another leading volunteer with the truck, and if you caught the last name, he's my grandpa too. We'll be talking about the truck and their experiences working on it. Thanks for joining me, guys.
You're welcome.
So I want to ask just another question a little bit about the context of the truck and why it's needed. So why is there so much poverty in Appalachia?
Well, first of all, as you know, the environmentalists have cut back on the use of coal, or tried to get everybody to cut back on the use of coal, and there are no other alternative jobs available to these miners. So they're trying to get readjusted to all of this, but it's taking a long time because most of these people are back into the hill area of the West Virginia and are in the remote locations, and it's hard to reach some of them.
And so the need is definitely there, and I'll ask this question for you, Mr. Bodenschatz. How did you first find out about this ministry, and how did you get involved with it?
Through St. Paul's Church, St. Paul's Catholic Church in North Canton.
And what about you, Mr. Casasana?
Well, again, through St. Paul's Church, at times I heard about it, and I would bring a few things of household goods up to the site, which at that time was just a little garage on the campus of the church area there. Well, it has grown since then to now that we have a fairly large storeroom.
And now that it's gotten so big and you have so many people working with you now, what makes this project worthwhile for you?
Well, to me, it's a chance to do something worthwhile to people that are in need. I mean, we have an awful lot here, and we never think about some of the poverty that's going on around us. And this is one way that through our church we can handle a little bit of the poverty area and help them out.
And what about your perspective?
It's a feel-good thing. You know you're helping someone, and very worthwhile.
And what kind of relationships have you developed working with this truck?
Well, as we have gotten to know each other, we start enjoying one another by needling us through some of the eccentricities that we have. So it becomes a good, close-knit brotherhood throughout the whole situation.
Absolutely. A lot of harassment.
About how long would you say it usually takes in the morning for you to load up the truck?
I would guess that we try to limit it to an hour and a half, but a lot of times with the number of packages and the number of things that we have to load and the way we have to load it, it may take as much as 3 hours.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yes.
What kinds of furniture do you usually find that are most common around there?
Well, actually, there's not too much of commonality. We get all kinds of furniture, anywhere from the kitchens, tables, and chairs to outdoor furniture to living room furniture, and occasionally we get some nice beds and bedroom furniture. So it's a little bit of everything, really, and nothing in the way of a major amount.
And Mr. Bodenschatz, what happens to the furniture once it gets down to the Appalachia region?
Well, it goes through a warehouse and into a store, a so-called store. My understanding is that they sell what they can sell. They have to make enough to meet expenses. If it's definitely needed, they'll give it away. And is it true that they have a second store, or did that second store close?
Yes,
They had two.
They had two, but they had closed the one, so they're down to one store. Any excess that they have after the 2 or 3 weeks, they take to homeless shelters around the West Virginia area as well. So there's a dual purpose in the whole thing. That what we're doing ends up being a good thing, all trickle-down effect type of thing.
Right. So you guys always have been donating for a long time, about 25 years, correct?
Well, I haven't probably been 10 to 15 years. The project is about 25 years old, and as we age and move on to other things, we've become a part of it, and I guess I've been there around 12 years now.
Wow. And are there any other places that bring donations to the Appalachia region?
The group that we are working with, they have a contact with a church in the New Jersey area, and in that they send down maybe 4 or 5 loads a year, where we send one every month.
Now, have you been able to get to the Appalachia region yourself or see it?
No. We've talked about going down there a number of times. It's just never happened.
Mm-hmm.
Well, years ago, I went down for a week at a time doing constructive type things, building porches, ramps, remodeling, doing different things for the people there. It was unrelated to this, but nevertheless it was in the Appalachia region where they still needed help for other types of things, the handicapped people especially.
Mm-hmm. And I'll change gears a little bit and ask you, how has working on this project changed your perspective on poverty?
Well, you know, you sit at home and you feel comfortable with what we have. And when you realize what's going on in some of the other parts of the world, and our country for that matter, there's a lot of need out there for this type of donations. They're happy to receive a lot of the stuff that we send them because they don't have access to it or can't afford brand new stuff that we'd be sending down.
And how has that changed your perspective?
Just the fact that we're helping someone.
Now, I know this is related and funded by St. Paul's Church, so I'll ask you, what's your involvement with St. Paul's Church other than working on this truck?
Well, I'm involved with the ushering group, and I also work with the daily mass servers that are a part of the St. Paul school children. So I keep myself busy there with a couple of projects there.
And you?
And I'm a mass server and a funeral greeter. That's all, funeral greeter.
So you guys are also really involved with the church. Are there any other service projects that you do?
Well, I bring communion and make visitations to people at the Altman Woodlawn Rehabilitation Center and make visits there every so often and try to encourage the people there to continue on and to make their lives better, even though it's a little tough when you're sitting there with a broken arm or a bum leg or something like that.
Now, both of you are retired, but you've lived in the North Canton community for quite a long time. What did you do in North Canton as a career before you retired?
Well, I was an engineer at the Hoover Company, maintaining the facilities there. I spent about 28 years there.
And what about you?
I was a customer service representative for United Airlines at the Akron-Canton Airport.
And how long were you there?
36 years.
And how long were you at the Hoover Company?
It was about 28 years.
How would you say that North Canton has changed since you've been working here?
I don't see a major change. I think the technology of things here, seeing what's going on with the school system and how they've upgraded everything, has been great. The city itself provides excellent services, and I don't know that you can get better than excellent.
Right.
So I'm very pleased with the community and with that type of thing. They're trying to maintain a situation, but it's hard when you have a lot of shopping areas around the city to go to. It's hard to develop that same type of a situation within the town. But we've enjoyed living here, and I've enjoyed it very much.
And what changes have you noticed?
I think the biggest change was the loss of the Hoover Company. Affected a lot of people, a lot of long-time residents in North Canton.
And I know that you've had kids go through the North Canton City Schools. What would you say that North Canton City Schools did for your students, or what was your impression of the school system?
I was very well pleased with the North Canton school system and the way our kids handled it.
And did you have kids that went through here?
My kids went through the Catholic school system, so I'm not that firsthand related into the school system here, other than talking to people that I know that have sent their children here. And they all have really praised it for its worthwhileness.
Right, so you've been in North Canton for a long time, involved with the schools in some ways. And back to St. Paul's, how would you say you've seen St. Paul's change since you've been there?
Well, I think the involvement of people and the parishioners in the various things that are going on there, whether it be a ministry or just supportive work, it seems like that people are getting more and more involved.
Would you say the same?
The number of ministries,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So how do you hope to see the St. Paul's change in the future?
Well, I hope to see more involvement with the younger people, the younger families as they're growing up, that they develop a relationship with each other and then with their church and with the ministries within the church, so that we continue to grow with all these ministries. And as things change, hopefully they'll bring that change about for us.
And I'll bring you back to the Appalachia truck. How long do you think this ministry will continue to go? How long do you think there will still be a need for this?
That's a good guess. It would be hopeful that more people would do similar projects and that we can eventually eliminate some of the poverty in the world to make a better living for everyone.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining me. It's been a pleasure talking with you all.
You're welcome.
Been a
Glad
pleasure.
to be here.
This holiday season, many families will be enjoying the company of their loved ones, while others will be struggling to make ends meet. Keep in mind ministries like the Appalachia Truck during Christmas time, so you can take the chance to bring more comfort and joy into the holidays of families not fortunate enough to be cared for. From all of us at NCTV, have a great holiday and may your celebrations be bright. I'll see you on the next episode of In the Spotlight.